What's up guys, it's Lord Sando here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Arcane Odyssey, which in my opinion is a game that a lot of people have too high expectations for. I know that a lot of people will not agree with me with this statement, but I think the game is overhyped, and that's just my personal opinion, but I'll be explaining my reasoning as to why I think that's the case. So let's start off by talking about the owner of Vtex games, and why I'm not particularly a big fan of his projects. So this guy really rose to fame by his successful anime games, One Piece Golden Age and Fairy Tail Online Fighting. I can't find images or pictures of the game because Vtex took them down, but both of those games were really good for their times. Like in particular for me, One Piece Golden Age was my favourite One Piece game besides One Piece Requiem. He did a really good job perfecting all of the effects and combat mechanics into like an RPG that no one had really seen work before. I was really excited for the development of One Piece Golden Age, and I thought it was going to be a game that I would play for a couple of years to come. Until he literally announced a month after he released the game that the game was going to discontinue development. His reason for this was because he didn't want to make anime games anymore, and I feel like that's probably a decision he should have made before releasing the game, but it's not that big of a deal. Developers quit their games all the time, but it's only a problem when they start to do it consistently. He went on to develop and release Arcane Adventures, which is by far his most popular and successful game, and probably the game that you know him for. It's also the game that World of Magic and Arcane Odyssey are based off. It's meant to be like the sequel to that game. The game was updated and lived for a few years, but then Vtex quit on it and he said he wanted to work on other things. People were obviously upset because this is one of the best games that they enjoyed to play, and they didn't realize that he would quit on it. And I honestly feel like Vtex regrets that decision and he wishes he worked on that game, because it could have been so much more. He's recently made other games too, like Adventure Story, which was a game that was actually very promising. I had a lot of fun playing Adventure Story, but for some reason he decided to quit that game. I don't remember what his reasoning was. He stopped updating it completely and the game just died. In the last year, he's made World of Magic and Pirate Party. Let's talk about Pirate Party first. Pirate Party, by all measures, was a fail. It was meant to be like a round-based pirate game, which was meant to appeal to a wider audience, but instead it pretty much just appealed to no one, and the game has 0 players after just a month of it being released. I'm pretty sure he took models and assets from One Piece Golden Age instead of making them fresh, which just shows like a lack of commitment and pure laziness to take assets from a game that old and reuse them without even revamping them. Anyway, now on to World of Magic. World of Magic was meant to be the sequel to Arcane Adventures, and it was very hyped up, and people thought that it was going to do just as well as Arcane Adventures did. The game, as the name suggests, was meant to be a magic-based game with an immersive world and combat system. However, the game didn't really deliver on any of those things, as the combat system was very similar to Arcane Adventures, which wasn't bad at the time, but for now, in 2021, it just doesn't work. Like with Pirate Party, Vtex also copied assets from his old games. Like the damage indicators that you're seeing now are from Fairy Tail Online Fighting and One Piece Golden Age, and they literally haven't changed at all. These are things that are like 4 or 5 years old. With all of that being considered, it's not really a surprise that the game received less than 200 players just a few months after its release, even though Arcane Adventures did thousands of players. It's pretty safe to say that World of Magic was a disappointment. Due to the lack of success on the game, Vtex announced that he would be making a huge revamp for the game, changing all of the bad features of World of Magic and replacing them with new good features. And the new name of the game would be called Arcane Odyssey. This has been in the works for about a year, and some of the things that has come out from the development updates have been pretty promising, but at the same time, given all of the stuff that I've told you about Vtex and his past being a developer on Roblox, it's pretty hard to be too optimistic about the game. I think he had his time in the golden ages of Roblox, which was about 4 or 5 years ago, no pun intended, and the platform has pretty much surpassed him. The games have become much better than what he's used to producing, and that's why games like Pirate Party just completely flopped. I feel like he's gonna need to completely revamp his way of developing in order to fit the new atmosphere of Roblox and to fully succeed as a developer. I'm pretty excited to follow the development of Arcane Odyssey, but I'll be cautious rather than optimistic, and I'd advise you guys to do the same. I don't want you guys to get your hopes up too high. Once again, this is a matter of personal opinion, and this isn't meant to discredit Vtex in any way. It's just my opinion of why this game is not as good as people are going to make it out to be. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I know it's hard to be a developer, so I don't really blame him, but at some point you have to make a change. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and peace out.